pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Media Network. We are live from beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida for the World Center of Racing. My name is Angel Santiago. I am joined today by my commentator here, Zach Wood. Zach, how are we doing today?
I'm doing really good, Angel. It feels so good to get back in the booth. It's been a long time for me getting back here, and been a little while since you and I have been up here together, but we are here with some off-season SCL season. Let's just say for fun races. How about that? Recruitment races. How are we going to frame this tonight? It's got a feel of an all-star race because it's at Daytona, and the only thing you want to bring home is the wheel or the steering, or the wheel or the trophies. So really excited to get this going here with you.
Oh, without a doubt, it's Daytona. I mean, what can you say? As much as we all want to joke about it sometimes, how these races can be a little more difficult for some, but it is a blast to race here, to be here, to watch the racing here. I mean, there's just nothing like it. The detail that iRacing does into the Speedway itself and how it looks is just unreal. And I'm saying that from someone who's been to just about every part of this racetrack here over the last 20-something years.
Yeah, you hear that, world? If iRacing doesn't have their stuff together, it's going to be Angel that says you're off by a little bit. So
I'm telling you, even the just off of turn 4, that building over there, that's a hotel. I mean, it's actually there. I mean, there's more stuff there now, granted, but like I'm sure maybe in the update we get the Bass Pro Shops that's across the street.
Oh, well, there you go. Expanding the range of what we can experience here on the service. Really excited to bring this SCL action here back on our YouTube channel, and where we advertise this great league, right? They have a ton of different disciplines of racing. So tonight we're going to be covering their Cup Series action. Again, we're here in the off season. They're trying to recruit folks. They're trying to recruit sponsors. These guys are a regular of ours, Angel, and they sometimes do 3 nights a week here with us. But currently they're looking for sponsorship. And as a guy who owns a league, I know that you are you are not unaware of maybe some of those difficulties. Can you talk to the guys out there in YouTube land, kind of how sponsors make this so special?
Difficulties is quite the understatement, and it's funny because actually I was just speaking with some of the admins here beforehand, and I was giving them a compliment as to their ability to recruit drivers, because we got a full field tonight. I said I got to get some pointers from you. I am big enough to admit when I need help. But no, I mean, yes, sponsors, they make or break it. I mean, as much as we enjoy being here in the booth, this is a business at the end of the day. It's not our business, but it's a business at the end of the day. And the bills have to get paid. Everything you see up here, the graphics, all that has to get paid. And that's just the name of the game. And that's just how it works at the end of the day. So the sponsors are what makes it possible for the drivers to be able to pay their entries, or even some leagues still to be able to offer free entries. But if you pay your entry, you don't feel like, you've lost it all, where at the end of the season, there's still some money to go back to the drivers. And that's what everybody wants, not that you do it for the money, but it's also a nice, at the end to have maybe at least a little bit of something to add back into the bank or to use towards the other another league of yours. But it's just, it all helps every little bit, and especially when it comes to broadcasting and having a large turnout like this, sponsors make every bit of a difference, and they really do make or break leagues.
Yeah, really, really excited to go through a lot of these drivers here with you, Angel. Kind of give you a bit of a recap on who's fast and who are some of the newcomers. As you said, there's a lot of people here, so there's certainly new faces to see. But I'm looking through the starting grid right now, and I see guys like Justin Lewis and Michael Matta, Charles Teed and Barrett Flo. All those guys. Trevor Dalton, Austin Call, Steven Johnson. They finished the season exceptionally well on a high note, and to be able to come back here at Daytona to get a good starting spot here. I know it's it's not as important as maybe some other tracks we go to, Angel, but yeah, I mean, getting that number one pit stall's got to feel pretty good.
It really does help, especially on your exit. You can just launch and you're out of there up to the to the gears as quickly as you can. So that can still be an advantage for somebody. We have our starting lineup here ready to go. Like I said, full field. We're gonna take some time to get through these drivers. So my most interesting thing here is our top 5 is separated by 3 1,000ths of a second. The pole position was determined past the 1,000th of a second mark. They had it to the T. Unbelievable. Frank Hughes, a rookie here in the SCL Winston Cup Series, is going to grab the pole in a 49.503. Michael Matta, he's going to get that same exact time, but just a little bit less on that next interval there. Second row, you're going to have Wayne Lowe and Justin Lewis. You'll see a lot of R's next to these names. Of course, that will represent a rookie for the league this season. In row number 3, Eric Peterson and Charles Teed, who in 6 was only 7 1,000ths of a second off. Row 4 belongs to Barrett Flo and Mark Brown. Trevor Dalton and Austin Call going to round out your top 10. Chad Jones and Steven Johnson going to go ahead and round out your positions 11 and 12. And if we can see why this is... This will start moving around here. Give it just a moment. SDK is running a little slow, apparently.
Oh, it is Monday after all. So
yeah, apparently, right? Goodness. I know. I come on, man.
But I was just tapped on the shoulder. Oh, there we go. I was tapped on the shoulder by the league reps, and they very carefully reminded me that I guess I need to be up on my game here a little bit, Angel. This is the start of season 35. I should have read it up here on the screen. It says season opener at Daytona International Speedway.
I was going to give it a moment.
I should have known. But this is not the off season. This is a championship season. It's just going to be called their summer season. So, So anybody who wants to get on board, this is the first race of the season. Taking a look here through your starting order, starting at 13th, you have Justin Cromier and Klaus Williams, who raced around with these guys last season. Jonathan Casabray, also towards the end of the season, we got to see him a little bit more up front in part-time role. Alejandro Montedesca in 16th. Todd Merkel sitting in 17th. Casey Hatch, 18th. Justin Hughes and Matt Schlosser, 19th and 20th. And 21st, oh, Angel, this is a guy you're going to love, Joshua Yarborough. He loves to ride the high line at every track we go to, so watch him jump out to the third lane as quick as possible. He's going to be beside Cody Oliphant there in 22nd.
Bruno Latour and Chris Myers are going to be row 12. Row 13 to Isaac Love and William Salamone. Tillman Hewer, David Hanna, row 14. Row 15 belongs to Greg Birch and Derek Wegman. And then Lilith Peters and Eli Raposa, hopefully there in row 16. And row 17 belonged to Jeremy Flanagan and Neil Rutt III.
Starting behind them in 35th and 36th is going to be Justin Horton and Nathan Adams. Todd Russ is going to start 37th. And there he is. I was waiting to see your past champion, Maxwell Caldwell, going to make it a little bit hard on himself, starting from 38th tonight. He's going to be your two-time defending champion, sitting back there in 38th. Mike Peters, Hunter Johnson, Charlie Birch, Tristan Underwood in 42nd, Julian Ricky, Dominic Hughes, and Mark, let's see, rolling down here. Mark Millard is going to be 45th on the grid. We are rolling green here at Daytona. That was quick, Angel. And here we go. A full field now at Daytona.
Oh, without a doubt. I am excited. We're going to have some action-packed racing here. You see the drivers quickly really just kind of get spread out, it seems like. Oh, here it is. We got the caution here.
Yes, we do. We're going to try to find it on our timing and scoring here. It looks like, taking a peek back here through the field, this was a RC thrown caution, so...
Oh, okay.
Trying to find where the incident was.
I'm wondering, I mean, we had a big spread in drivers. I'm not sure if maybe there was a something that went on there at the start. They felt they needed to...
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? They give it just a moment. They did say that we could bring in said race control, and they would keep us updated on why we have a certain caution. So we'll give it a moment, because if they threw this caution, it's probably because we got some things going on. So give it just a moment there. Zach, nonetheless, you said we're here at Daytona. It is 100 laps, and really, I'm excited to see what we can do. I mean, there's a lot of cars, a lot of people, a lot of rookies in this race. I have to say this. What do you think? I think there's probably a good 60 to 70% rookies almost. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But at the very least 50%. Is it a 50% chance that a rookie wins this race, or is it a league veteran that's going to come in here and win it?
You, Angel, exaggerate? Oh, never. But regardless, here we have a field, yes, filled with rookies. But you know what? I don't think the winner's going to come from a rookie here tonight. I think it's going to come from one of those guys we talked about at the top of the show that either qualified up front, or you're going to find Maxwell Caldwell in victory lane. We'll have to see. But you know as well as I, here at these big super speedway packages in this next gen ride, you got to find your friends, keep them close, hope for the best, and then at the end, all the friendships you made don't matter anymore. So we're never really going to know until, well, probably the tri-oval on the final lap. But I'm willing to bet one of the more seasoned vets are going to be up front.
I didn't know friends existed here.
They get along here really well. This league's really known for a lot of clean racing, a lot of hard racing. But almost always we have variations of fuel strategy and just different approaches to every single race. It doesn't matter what track discipline you go to with these guys. It doesn't matter what car you find yourself in with these guys. They always make sure to get off sequence of one another. Always makes for some good action late.
What I'm excited for here is just that the amount of cars. So everybody's aware. Side note. With the amount of cars that we have, SDK can only handle so much typically. You're going to see that ticker at the top bounce, move, go crazy left and right. Unfortunately, there is only so much of the capabilities of these systems here. So let's just take a reminder of that for a moment. It's tame for the moment, but when those cautions come out, they start swapping positions the way they do, crossing the start-finish line, she starts to go a little wonky. But, come to the end of this race, we start to thin out the field. If that's the case, it might improve itself. But just hang on. You'll see your driver come across the top eventually. Or you're always welcome to join us in the comments section of our YouTube. Ask us where your driver's at. We'll be happy to jump over to them and get a general idea of their comparison to the leader if they're not already the leader themselves.
Yeah, certainly. Not a Not one of those channels you see on cable, Angel, but I think I can guarantee we're probably not going to have a power outage or something like that might take us away from the action. But that's neither here nor there. So let's rack them up and start them all over. They're going to come to the line and get lap 4 here, side by side to the line, 2 by 2, as far as the eye can see. I think, Angel, it might have been how staggered they were on that last restart, because this is much more unified.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what the case is, and it's working out pretty good here. These guys are lined up. Or to say almost the other side wasn't the worst thing. They were pretty well spread out, but right here doing a great job coming off of turn number 2. You see this deep view. A couple of guys going to drop to the inside already, just trying to get out of the way of this big pack because they do not want to be in the middle of it should something happen.
Frank Hughes and that Hughes Garage number 11 machine doing a great job at pushing his teammate Wayne Lowe up here on that bottom lane, but up front on that high line you have one of those vets, Angel, Michael Matta up here. He's going to lead this lap under green at Daytona.
Man, I love seeing all those cars just come flying across our screens. They're going 190 miles per hour, topping out at 205, 207, some of them deeper in the pack here, side by side. Man, this is just what the type of racing that you live for. And you know what? It is so much fun. I don't care where you are in the pack. That's what's fun about Daytona and Talladega tracks like this. You're having fun, really, no matter where you're at on track.
Yes, and for some of you returning viewers of SCL action, you have to find your driver and maybe uncover a new paint scheme, one that you're not really familiar with. A prime example of that is your leader, Mark Brown. He was in a darker colored machine last season, sort of blended into the field. Not this time around. Bright green 73 machine leading the pack.
Beautiful, man, but that outside lane, it is running. They are going to take it right back away. He couldn't quite clear him. I think he had him clear, but he just decided that he was going to stay with the guys that were helping him up top. But, man, that outside, it is pretty good. If you can hold that outside lane, man, it could be your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, Angel, on the low line here at Daytona, it tends to jumble up getting into corner entry. It tends to buckle a little bit and the momentum gets stopped. You can see the front 4 on the bottom line have separated, but once they get all connected, it's not exactly pedal to the metal all the way around like it is on the outside. It's a little more comfortable up there.
Yeah, I like the outside for that reason, where you can be more comfortable. You're not, and like you said, you have to kind of let up. You have to get off the throttle a little bit because there is a shorter, it simply is a shorter distance. As much as we want to say, man, those guys up front don't know what they're doing, man. Everybody's over here slamming on the brakes or something like that. And we know, we're just saying it to say it. We're just complaining to complaining. We know how it is. It is simply too many cars in one spot, and there's just and too much momentum. You got to slow down. And that outside, because of the extra distance and typically less cars, it allows that freedom to really be able to stay, in line without having to check up as much. It allows you to just be more consistent, in my opinion.
Teammates up front in the 84 and the 11 have stuck together since the drop of the green flag, but they are getting blocked right now by Mark Brown, who was up top a few laps ago and decided to defend on the bottom lane. He has been even with Michael Matta. And meanwhile, back through the field, we're talking probably about anywhere from 15th on back, as you can see on this wide shot. They're a little spread out. It's a little dicey back here.
Yeah, you got probably, let's see, how many drivers in this front pack, give or take?
Couple big time players back here too, ending with Trevor Dalton in the 30. That's the 26th position. Trevor Dalton was one of those guys up front every single week. I'm looking at a couple guys around him too. Mike Peters in the 95, Tillman Hewer in the 14, Chris Myers in the 24. They are all seasoned veterans here at SCL. You can bet that they're going to find their way back up to the front by the end of this thing. Angel, why don't you explain to some of the viewers out there, why would you elect to do something like what these guys are doing back here from 20th on back?
Well, the goal for them is, they see this big pack, all this energy in front of them. People are kind of moving in and out. And let's not forget, it is a noontime start. It is hot at this racetrack. It's Florida. It's going to be hot regardless, okay? It's hotter here than it is there in iRacing right now. So, it's hot, so it's slick. You're sliding left and right, and whether you like it or not, you're behind another car. It's upsetting the balance of yours. So what you're doing when you're staying in the back is you're avoiding any possible wreck. If a wreck happens, you're giving yourself that leeway to be able to get past it. These guys only have one fast repair, 100 laps. I want that fast repair in my back pocket until lap 95.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can get away with not using it at all, you've been blessed here at Daytona. And they are shifting around here for the lead a little bit. While we were taking a look back there around 25th, the front row has changed. It's Michael Matta reclaiming the lead, but now on the inside, he is flanked by Alejandro Montedosa. I want to get that right. I know we pitter-pattered around that last name a little bit last season towards the end, but Alejandro, he was able to get in a couple races late in the season, and he's been very good on some raw speed. Now here at the play track, he's taken the lead.
Well, hey, raw speed is what you need here at a play track, and you see this, I'll say this outside line developing. The outside lane is faster, but most people feel more comfortable on the inside lane, so that's where they tend to stay, but that outside lane is faster. You gotta stay organized up there, and it really takes some work to get to the drivers at the bottom, which goes to show how well iRacing did really in recreating the package, because this is exactly how you see it at Daytona. I feel like I'm there, and I can say that. I know, I've been there so many times. This I feel like I'm watching it. You got the outside lane prevailing, typically 3 to 4, maybe 5 cars, single file, and then they're double file. You have someone drop down, you have some momentum, they pick back up, get close to the leader. They might have a pass, but it always ends up being that outside lane prevails here on these longer runs. And with 100% fuel, you're going to see these long runs happen.
Yeah, absolutely. They are side by side here, though, going down the backstretch. So put this one in your memory bank, Angel. That's 16. He's good out front by himself, but he's also a good pusher. As you can see, Justin Premier now getting pushed to the lead.
Listen, Zach, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I'm going to do my best to remember.
But as you can see up front, we have a Ford up front, and then behind him a Chevy. And scattered throughout the field, I know that there are a few Toyotas, but Angel, talking about these kinds of, I always want to call it plate racing, but it's not plate racing anymore, but everybody seems to understand what we're trying to say when we say that.
Racing, come on.
But talk about the difference between car manufacturer here and maybe the pros and cons of what kind of car you take here to Daytona or Talladega.
Well, I mean, we know in real life, we have just the simple fact of horsepower. I know I'm a Ford guy. I don't say it just because I'm a Ford guy, but the Fords are known for having more horsepower. Those Roush 8 engines, they've been known for that for years. There's a reason, it was a Ford that Bill Elliott had at Talladega. It's just what it's always been. The Chevys typically come out, designed for the raw, for how do you describe it? For the body. They're molded better to cut through the air. That's why Hendrick has the pole 9 years out of the last 10. And the Toyotas just find that good mix in between because they have the limited numbers. And then you have the way they push. They say the Fords tend to be flatter in the way they push. We know the Chevys worked on that this offseason. I'll be honest, we know how it is in iRacing. They're meant to be the same, but I still feel like there's a lot of drivers, and I'm the same way. I'll go push a Ford still before I push another driver, even if we're all the same.
Yeah, and so early on here, you might get away with trying to find your teammate and being able to make friends as you find them in the field, as you find your teammates in the field. Then as the race wears on, as we get to pit stops and things like that, you might want to branch out, start thinking about pitting with manufacturers. And then towards the end of the race, none of that matters, right? You want friends where you can find them. If they can push you to the win, then so be it. And if you're stuck in a box, then the choice has been made for you. So right now, these guys are just trying to find their teammates, most likely. You can see that in the 85 and the 11 here, further on into the field here, as we got to see them in the front of the pack. Now they're in mid-pack. But back here, Angel, you got a line of guys that really are just banking on a big one, I guess, in front of them.
Well, they're content to ride back here. I mean, and that's perfectly fine. It works for them. It keeps them kind of. This is a long race, Zach. These guys are probably just. They got the left foot on the gas pedal, just relaxing, and that's what I like to do sometimes. As much fun it is to run up front, I like to just. I don't know. I don't always like to be up front. Full blown, sometimes it's nice to just sit back here, get the pace of things, get an idea. Okay, the front of the pack has been pretty tame right now, so you know what that typically means for the end of the race. It looks like Trevor Dalton's going to lose the draft, which is so easy to do, to lose the draft in these cars here. Another pack of guys just kind of chilling back here, no rush, just minding their P's and Q's. They can be very fast still in a pack like this, but that's not their goal. Their goal is to just make laps. And this front pack, man, they are weaving side to side as we just joined back. Wow, they look like they're about to wreck right there. Unbelievable.
These guys up front are not letting anything go. It's all wanted real estate up here. If you see a hole, you're definitely going to try to fill it with your machine as respectfully as possible here on lap 17 coming to 18. But they're all chasing Justin Lewis right now, who, Angel, he's one of those guys that week in and week out last season was always very quick, but he's being hounded by Casey Hatch, who is one of those newcomers to the league. So got a good blend of both up here. Todd Brickle back there in fourth place as well, looking to start the season off strong.
So now I have a question for you, Zach. You're someone like Casey Hatch. You're a rookie in this league. The guys around you are veterans. Is your goal to stay right there in the middle? Do you try to make a pass to get a lap lead? You don't know if you're going to have a chance to lead a lap again. That's 5 bonus points here. Did you guys use the old Winston Cup point system? So that's 5 points right there. The points matter so dang much. I think people forget that. Yes, we put emphasis on wins for these new types of ones, but it's all about consistency, and every point you can get matters. So what are you thinking about doing, Zach? Are you trying to steal 5 points and then, you'll fall maybe 9, 10, then hold on to that inside lane, find your way back up at one point? What are your thoughts? What's going through your head here, lap 19, almost 20 of a 100-lap race?
Well, that's the beauty of SCL Winston Cup, Angel, is that it's not like other next-gen leagues. It's not like a lot of these modern leagues that adopt the new NASCAR point system. It rewards consistency, and it rewards also being opportunistic in the middle of each race. If you have a chance to lead some laps, you have to take it. I know for me personally, I always like to steal one. So to be able to have the opportunity to say, I led a lap today, that makes me feel good. It brings up my confidence. But if I'm Casey Hatch right now, hey, you're in the top lane. You're sitting second. Everything's all peachy keen. You're saving gas, which is a big deal here. We haven't even talked about that, Angel, with Justin Lewis being the one cutting the air in that Chevrolet. He doesn't have the opportunity to do that, but Casey most certainly does. If I'm that 114 machine, I'm okay with just sitting back here for just a little while longer. Obviously, you want the opportunity to lead a lap, but if that 16 makes a run to the inside, then maybe then you can drop down.
I think that's great advice. As you see these guys now, what's the plan now? You got the 50 of Charles Teed, who is a lap car. Just lost the draft, which again I've said is so easy to do. You can just blink and you've lost the draft. So getting around him, communication is very, very important, and you see all these drivers just slowly moving up. What did he do? He kept to the same lane he was racing the whole time, hasn't moved. Everybody went right around him. That's great work by Charles T there, and everybody. Look, he's even going to move down a little bit. Knows he's slower. Get as much as he can out of the way. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic job right there. I hope that good karma comes back for the 50, because we've seen what a lap car can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're on the fence about joining SCL, right there, that is not a rare occurrence with this league. These guys always race with a lot of respect for one another. Of course, as the season wears on, Angel, we're not going to see fields of 45 every week. But here at the first race of the season, even now, where everything's all on the line, you're not having a good first 20 laps, no sense in wrecking the field. Just move on over and let them go on by, live to fight some more laps. And that happens often in this league. A lot of respect here between these drivers.
what I love is and you said that just all the respect you have amongst drivers is wow. That's 75 of Chad Jones. He's got a big run on the inside, just like you said. It's help from the 16. Someone's in the wall. We got a big wreck here coming off of turn 4. That is our first wreck of the evening here, lap 22. Wow.
Klaus Williams is in it. Barrett Flo is in it. Wayne Lowe is in it. Down the list here, Isaac Love is in it. Down through even more, we have big hitters like perhaps Austin Call and Mike Peters also involved. That all started coming out of turn 4, and just one driver in that mid-pack got a little too high against the fence. Take a look. That's that red, white, and blue machine. 5th car on the outside getting into the fence. We're going to have to see who that is.
If he had let's see here.
Let's see. Ahead of the 62 machine, if we can get just a smidgen of a
chopper view. There you go.
There we go. Take a look here. 5th car on the outside. He's going to get in the wall, and that's going to stack up the guys right behind him.
Let's see. Oh, yes, exactly what happened. You caught it perfect. There's nowhere to go for a lot of these drivers in that situation. Yeah, that's just nothing any of those drivers can do. Just
Chris Myers is in it. He's a big, heavy hitter here. Wow, Mike Peters takes a big hit flying across the inside of the field in that 95 blue Canes
I'd love
machine.
To switch this green car because they must have gotten a great view of this. I'm going to...
It very well might be the... I just made a comment about him, how he's driving a different paint this season. Now it
was that green and black one. Just... Well, right now with the way everybody pitting and SDK is with this, we're going to have to give it a moment because it is losing its mind with everybody on pit lane. Love this view off pit lane, though.
Yeah, a lot of people down pit road here. First pit stop of the season, so you have to hit your marks. As you can see, one of those dark horse racing machines overshot his pit stall.
Oh, somebody's sideways coming to their pit stall. That was that Napa car we saw earlier. Oh, no, he must have just gotten turned sideways. I don't know what happened.
That's Alejandro there getting turned sideways on pit road. So it's something we don't really think about a lot here, Angel, but I've seen it more than a few times here now in SCL competition, making contact with people on pit road. You don't think about that a lot here in iRacing, but it is possible.
This is the view. I finally got the view that I wanted. This is the 55 of Justin Cormier. Hopefully I said that correctly here. And let's jump on board. It's one of my favorite views that we get to see. If I can find it. There we go. We're going to see him navigate his way through this wreck as it happens right in front of him. I'm going to hit the slow-mo just through here.
Take a look. 2 cars in front of him. That's the 24 of Chris Myers. He's going to get hit into Klaus Williams. And look at that. The 62 sideways right in front of him. That's Isaac Love. Look at this.
Not a... Wow. Oh. That is amazing. I love these onboards, man. I love trying to find one car that makes it through. I love doing that. It is so awesome. Great job for him. Great evasion there for Justin, who's actually going to be one of two Canadians in the field tonight. Both of Canadians in Fords, oddly enough. Not oddly enough, just interesting that you have both guys in the same one, the same type of car. Nathan Adams, he's going to be your race leader. He decided not to pit.
And Matt Schlosser as well on the outside. He came down pit road at lap 3 when we were trying to get everything all sorted back together. The caution has been extended by 1 lap, so now we have a 2 to green signal. For anybody wondering, watching at home, let's see here real quick. Jonathan Casbray was given an EOL for that wreck. So if you're wondering where Jonathan's at.
And okay, we have clarification, and he just posted it in the Discord for us. His last name will be pronounced Case Beer, he says. So now we know.
Hey, we will take all the help we can get. So thank you. We really appreciate it. And
yeah, man. That was that American flag car that we did see kind of slide up, and I can't to say that it was anybody's fault in particular. It's what happens when you're in that dirty air, which is just so important in these cars, and you'll see that ever so more displayed here over the next couple of weeks, as you see as actually next week they're going to be at Michigan. Zach, you may or may not know about a certain track called Michigan.
Oh yeah. That's a really fun track, and being able to get out there in this Gen 7 car, you can pretty much make it work anywhere you want to. So a lot of fun racing to be had out there, I'm sure, by this group. Who those are the kind of racetracks, Angel, with this league I really look forward to, because there's a lot of diversity through the field and how you want to attack a racetrack. I think of a guy like Joshua Yarborough, who rips the wall everywhere we go. And then kind of the more traditional drivers like Maxwell Caldwell, who will wrap the apron everywhere we go. They seem to find each other, and yet they're able to race respectively. And
like a Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick type of thing.
Yeah.
Somebody on the wall, somebody on the line.
I really appreciate that about this league. They do it the right way here. So, again, if you're on the fence about joining this league, you'll have to go and find it. SCL Winston Cup Series. They do way more than just this track discipline, just this car discipline. They have a Super Truck Series, and then they also have a Street Stock Series, which is always fun to broadcast. So we were able to take a peek at all those last season. Hopefully we'll be able to bring some of them to you again this year. But the lights are out on the pace car, Angel, and that can only mean one thing.
Green flag racing. I'm excited. Here we were just past that quarter way through this race, which was kind of got through that quarter mark pretty quickly here. Pretty good, solid, not more than solid, very good racing we've had. Pace cars coming down pit lane. Nathan Adams is going to be your leader. He is the control car. One of the few things they do that is up to date is the side-by-side restarts, but man, you can't resist. They are so much fun to watch. And, well, you have 40 cars. Whoa, and the 07's going to take them 3 wide. We're 3 wide for the lead here going into turn 1.
2 cars started on the front row who did not pit. The guy who started behind them, he is Justin Lewis.
We're
he
still
definitely
3
pitted.
wide.
He is so hungry on that inside lane. Meanwhile, Matta on the outside, the 16, saying, "Oh, there's contact. Justin Lewis way to the inside. How did he save it? Coming back up now."
The 359 of Nathan Adams stuck in the middle, nowhere to go. Gets contact there with Justin Lewis. Lewis all the way to the bottom. Was able to come right back up and save it. Great skills for everybody else and awareness to really give him the room to come back up. And your front 3 pull away ever so slightly by about 0.3 of a second.
Schlosser, Matta, and Hewer out front right now. And these 3 are no strangers to SCL competition. They were able to come out and showcase their talents last season. Nathan Adams in the 359 is your first rookie out here in the top 5. But he's now going to get caught in the sucker hole again.
Oh my goodness! You do not to get caught there once sucks. To get caught there again, and just a lap later, you're gonna have to do a good job. He's gonna try to side draft to try to stay with some of these guys, but unless he gets some help or somebody lets him in, it's gonna be very, very difficult. Oh, he's gonna find a way. The outside lane, right behind him, somebody gets into the wall a little bit, and we gotta no. We're just gonna settle right back in here. But side by side, at least. I don't know, 12 rows deep. I don't even know how to count how many. We're 3 wide there, a little bit further back.
Eli Raposa, the 33 on the outside lane, was able to give that bright red machine a break to find his way back into traffic. It's now sorted itself out. That was a battle for 13th mid-pack here in this front group. But they're a little more sporty here, Angel. It's got a bit of a different feel than the first part of this race.
Well, because you racked everybody back up, and it's like, okay, well, the guys who are in the back are like, okay, well, this race was a little bit more calm. I got to get up there and maybe lead a lap myself. And here we are, 3 wide for 3rd. They're sliding up. It could have been 4 wide, but no, they're wrecking. Contact, and it is the same place as the last one. May only have 3 or 4 cars involved in this.
That started with the 73 machine of Mark Brown getting into the outside fence. collecting multiple guys here on this one. Unfortunately, it's going to involve Klaus Williams. It's going to involve a couple other of these heavy hitters we've been mentioning at the top of the show. But yes, you're right, Angel. It happened the exact same way as our wreck, not just 10 laps ago.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and change this up. Alrighty. If it'll eventually, man, this thing does not want to cooperate today. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, we're a little too far back at this. Okay, no, caution had come out afterwards. That's correct. There we go. Alrighty. Let's get a good view. You see the 73 of Mark Brown. They're 3 wide. I called it. Oh, it looks like the 14 actually slid up a little bit, got into him. And that's just a chain reaction. It's going to take out at least 4 to 5 cars, possibly.
Well, I'll tell you what, Angel, the guy to hop on board with is that number 2 Merkel Racing Engines Ford of Todd Merkel. He had a front row seat of everything going on in this one.
All right, let us see this. Let's see. We're going to have to go back compared to when the actual caution did come out. All right, just a little bit more. You're right. He's right there in the bottom. You see the 14, the 73 are right next to him. We're going to slow it down a little bit. The 14 on the bottom actually slides up and gets into the 114. Doesn't give him a ton of room, so that's more of a chain reaction on the 14 on the bottom. And then we have 2 14s. That black and white one's actually going to be the 114 on your live timing, and that's just where everything happens. And oh boy, you're right.
Look at this. Wow.
He's on the brakes hard. Oh my goodness. And of course, this is where everything's going to start going crazy. But wow. Great call on that one. Yes, you got that one perfectly.
So here we are, Angel, at a crossroads in this race. We talked about at the top of the show how SCL is known for divergence when it comes to fuel and tire strategy. Taking a look at timing and scoring right now, you're going to have about, let's just say 20 cars staying out on the field right now, but multiple drivers in that front pack are going down pit road right now. So from about 20th on back, we're going to see takers on pit road, heavy hitters like Justin Lewis, Charles Teed. You talked about Good Karma coming back to that 50 machine. Guess what? Back on the lead lap. Talking about Barrett Flo, one of the heavy hitters for the championship last season until he had to take a brief hiatus in that 92 Ford. He's back there in 29th. Guys like Klaus Williams, who we've seen up front already, Tillman Hewer, involved in that last accident, of course, on pit road. These guys know what they're doing, and now they've set themselves a little bit apart from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and well, that's going to be their goal. But you talked about, yes, you know, the decision of coming in, not coming in. And these drivers get 4 total tire sets, so that you divide it up evenly, 25 laps. So let's say more generous than me than our typical 30-something laps per set. I regretted that Friday night. But
they're nice over here, Angel. They're nice.
Oh, come on. Okay, no. That's the whole point. No, but with that, the last caution was lap 23 when they pit, so lap 30-something here if they hadn't already taken a set of tires. So, I mean, this works out perfectly. If you haven't already taken a set, you take your first set now, and you still got an even amount for the rest of this race. Not that your tires matter all that much here, but you know what? It still is nice sometimes to have a fresh set of tires to kind of move around where you want to, when you want to, under this Florida sun.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to make those aggressive moves from the top lane to the bottom lane. Hey, you don't even know. You might need that to avoid one of these wrecks. I'm curious to know, though, if these guys are going to calm down a little bit. We did talk about right before that wreck, actually, how that past run felt a lot more dicey, a lot more aggressive than that first run where everybody just kind of behaved. Maybe that wreck brings some of these guys down to earth, and we're going to be seeing a little bit more calm racing by some of these drivers.
I believe that entirely. This is what you typically see. You have a nice long green flag run to start. Then you have a couple of cautions, and then everybody's like, all right, everybody, calm down. We got to get through this race still. We're now a third of the way through this race. We're making good time. Let's just get out there, keep it calm, and continue through. Everybody's got mostly a fresh tank. Is it still showing for you that the 400 has not pit? That second place car has not pit since lap 3?
Yes, that is correct. He did not go down pit road again, and so it will be Matt Schlosser on the inside of Michael Matta. We know that 16 machine is very strong on the outside. He's going to have a good pusher behind him in Eli Raposa. We made a comment about him earlier, being very kind about mid-pack, letting folks in. Meanwhile, Schlosser's got Justin Cromier going to push him. So we're going to go 2x2 here now at Daytona. Going to get lap 34 of this contest, just over a third of the way done here at SCL Winston Cup Series action from Daytona.
Here they are coming across the start-finish line, going here into turn number 1, still side by side most of the way through the field, side by side for first. That 400, maybe he's got less fuel in the tank, gonna make him a little bit lighter. He's gonna pull off to the lead here over the 16 with some help from that 55 Ford of Justin Cormier as they come off here, turn number 2, and you got a plane landing back there on the backstretch.
Yeah, I hear that plane lands pretty often as these drivers are going to go side by side with one another into 3 and 4. Wow, you saw a little bit of a shake there mid-pack by Tristan Underwood in the 790 machine, but everything all sort of sorts itself out back here. So side by side to the start-finish line, and it's going to be Matta's lap to lead.
Yeah, they are right on top of each other, putting on a show for us, man. You know, we love to watch as these drivers can stay right on top of each other, but yet still give each other the room that they truly need as they come across turn number 2. You see that? Man, they're flying through there. Well, 190 miles an hour right through there.
And the front 4 are lifting each other off of the pavement going down the backstretch. What a push did Michael Matta get going into turn 3, but don't look now. That bottom lane's starting to creep back in. That 400's starting to get a good push on that inside lane from the 55 machine. We're going to be able to see some action here from that inside lane here pretty quickly. As you can see, they're a lot more bunched up there on the bottom than they are on top.
Yeah, and that's sometimes good, sometimes bad. Good because you want to be bunched up, you want to carry the most momentum, but sometimes that could be bad when you're trying to stay off with the guy in front of you when you got somebody behind you, like you said, lifting you up.
And Angel, didn't we talk about like 7 minutes ago about how the 001 machine was sideways on pit road? He's now making a move for second place. That's crazy. Look at Alejandro making his way to the lead.
Man, some fantastic action we're getting here. We're having a little bit of some technical difficulties right now getting through some of these cars. So we're going to go ahead and take a brief commercial break. We still got to pay the bills here at the Sim Racing Media Network. So we'll go ahead and we'll be right back, everybody, in just a few moments. All right, we're going to come right back in quickly here. We did have a caution while we went to the break. Give me just a moment while we still try to figure this out. I'll bring up the reasons for this caution.
And this started all the way up front.
We are not going to be able to get a good view of this. Uh-oh. Yeah, we are not going to get the view we want from this. All right, Zach. Well, we're going to need you to explain this one to all the drivers because we are having all of our fans here, we are having technical difficulties that is preventing us from being able to show the full replay.
Well, to just explain to our viewers that might be watching, just know that every now and again we get technical difficulties here on our broadcast. And how our broadcast tends to work is that Angel, who is the lead producer on this team, gets one certain set of camera views, and when that goes out, he's blind. But I have the opportunity to explain to the viewers out there that my perspective of everything that happened. And basically, as they were going 3 wide off of turn 2 into the backstretch rather, we had a very similar incident than what we did in our first 2 cautions, where the middle guy gets jammed. And when that happens from second, Angel, there's nowhere to hide. You basically had 3 cars totally sideways across the racetrack, and that just created a huge parking lot. And the only one to not use evasive action was the only one in front of that, the 16 of Michael Matta.
Well, it pays to be in first, doesn't it? As you see this number 95 RTR 2024 Mustang there of Mike Peters, who beautiful car. We'll try to get a chance to see it at one point here. Beautiful car coming across for his lucky dog position. But yeah, pays to be first when you can avoid a big wreck like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of drivers involved. There's still a couple on pit road right now. Just being able to make some repairs. Some don't have the fast repair, Angel, and some, like you said earlier, are trying to keep it in their pocket until the very, very end. So if you have a fast repair right now, you have a big choice to make. Do you roll the dice and limp around here for another 50 laps and hope there's a late race caution and you put yourself in a position to get fixed? Or do you get fixed now and mind your P's and Q's all the way to the end?
I do apologize. We're working on this here. No, you had to mind your P's and Q's. You gotta wait it out. It's still early in this race. I have always had that strong opinion. You gotta wait on it. You can't just start making these moves too early. It's where you get yourself in trouble. Because unless, again, like you just saw, unless you were in first and then just the right spot at the right time, a wreck can very much happen and take you out of this. And you'll either lose your fast repair or lose the rest of your car after already using a fast repair.
So, taking a look back up front, I'm trying to get reset here, not just for our viewers at home, but for us up here in the broadcast booth. We have a newcomer has entered the fight for the lead at Daytona, up 21 spots from where he started tonight. Let's talk about Bruno Latour up here in that 71 Duracell Ford. Gonna be interesting. Angel, for somebody who maybe spent the last 40 laps of this race mid-pack, back of the pack, what are some of the challenges now that you find yourself up front?
I think the biggest one, excuse me, is that are you prepared? Excuse me, I got a cough here. Sorry. No, are you prepared, and how much experience do you have racing in the draft? How much experience do you have with these guys drafting around you? Have you just been single file this whole time and just kind of chilling? The aspect is so different. You think you're prepared, but you're not always as prepared as you think.
Well, 2x2 here at the start finish line. We will be getting lap 41 of this contest. Some drivers have elected to go down pit road under this last cycle. As you can see on the restart, second car on the inside, that's Cody Oliphant, did not get going in his machine, his 355 machine. That's going to open the door here for William Salamone. A couple of new guys up front, Angel. Maybe your prediction's right.
We have quite a few of your top 5. I think only Matta and Peterson are the ones that are not rookies, and we are everybody just bear with us while we figure out why we are having such technical difficulties out of nowhere.
Well, if people back home can at least hear me, I guess I can give my MRN version of this broadcast, and we can see how we can do here. But side by side, all the way through the tri-oval, coming to the start-finish line, it's the 16 of Michael Matta being flanked by Eric Peterson in that Dark Horse Racing Machine. Haven't talked a lot about him today. Talked a lot about his teammate in the 50 machine, Charles Teed. Earlier this race was a lap down, free-falling through the pack. He's found himself inside the top 15, but right now it's his teammate Peterson taking the lead here. A guy on the outside, second car in, pushing the 16 is Steven Johnson in the 44, and there it is. The 71's going to get into the 36, sideways in the infield, and he saved it. Nope, he didn't. Farther back in the pack, there's a big wreck. We have Greg Birch, David Hanna, Alejandro's in it. Huge wreck in the middle of turn 3, and that started about halfway down the backstretch between the 71 machine, Bruno Latour, getting into a couple guys up front. That's going to cause a chain reaction. That was a wreck that took a long time to develop. Side-by-side action going all the way down the backstretch, causing this one here at Daytona. And that is not going to spell good things for guys like Greg Birch, who just wanted a bit of a shot there to kind of recover, but that unfortunately did not.
Yeah, that was definitely an unfortunate situation there for them as we are hitting here lap 43, about to go to lap 44. We're going to attempt to take that brief commercial break again and see if we can figure out what's going on, everybody. We're still working on it. Hang tight with us. And everybody in the comments, thanks, Zach, for being able to talk through it as I figure this out. But we'll be right back, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Still working on it. You're gonna see some things going on here on my screen, some background stuff, just while we get this figured out here. So, Zach, continue taking us away here, focusing in here. Lap 44, the 44 of Steven Johnson is our leader. And we're coming to the halfway point, and we've still got, give or take, 32 drivers, or 34, maybe 35 drivers, give or take, on the lead lap. Are you trying to stay in the front, or are you trying to drop in the back now, Zach? What is your plan?
Well, let me tell you, if I'm Steven Johnson, I'm white-knuckling that lead right now, because that seems to be the only place that's safe. And Steven Johnson, just for some background for some of our viewers out there, he was one of the more hottest drivers towards the end of last season for SCL Winston Cup Series action, strung actually together a number of podium finishes. And even he was surprised when it came to his hot streak towards the end. That 44 Fanatec machine was really, really quick. It didn't matter what track discipline you were at. just seemed to figure it out. The raw speed was always there. It was just a matter of getting your racecraft down, and he certainly made the most of a really good run here, just under halfway at Daytona. Behind him, we're going to be able to see, well, rather beside him, Nathan Adams, a newcomer to the front. I feel like a lot of the drivers that are new to this league are racing a red car tonight, so it's making it pretty easy for us up here in the booth. But 359 machine's going to be to his inside, and right behind them, we have another rookie, Chad Jones, in 75. And then again, that 355 of Cody Oliphant's going to get another opportunity to get a better restart than he did last time around. If you can remember, that 355 started on the front row and made sure that he wasn't going to jump the restart, but that means he didn't quite get going. So we're going to be side by side all the way through the field here. Everybody's orderly and shouldn't have any problems here with the restart. Pace car, lights are out. There it goes, drifting down pit road. We're going to catch lap 46 of 100 now, with Steven Johnson leading the brigade to the start-finish line. Great jump, and now the battle will be for second with Chad Jones on the outside of Nathan Adams.
3 rookies, second, third, fourth, and now Trevor Dalton's going to find his way in there. Trevor Dalton was losing the draft, and we thought might be losing out of the off the lead lap as a whole, and here he is. He's made his way back up, and we're still figuring these things out, but little by little, it's getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of these rookies up here are really showing their might. Look at that, to the inside line. We have a guy dressed up in the 45 machine. I don't know if his number is 45. That's Charlie Birch, making it 3 wide back there for fourth, fifth, and sixth rather. But again, that 355 of Cody Oliphant's now stuck in the sucker hole. Let's see if we can all get around evenly and orderly. It looks like we will, and Johnson's going to lead that lap. Flying down here to turn 1 and 2. We have the 44 machine leading that top line. We're getting close to halfway, so I wouldn't be surprised if these drivers decide to just ride. And as we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, the longer the run goes, you want the car to kind of feel good. So you want it to be up there next to the wall on that outside line. But Trevor Dalton in that 30 machine, one of the heaviest hitters of last season, is now making his claim to the front. That Miller genuine draft Toyota Camry has now made his way to the front, and it looks like to the line he will lead this lap, being pushed by the 400 machine, Matt Schlosser there. So that Chevrolet painted like a Ferrari is now back within grasp of the lead, pushing the 30. And in my humble opinion, if you're following a guy like Trevor Dalton, one of the fastest guys in this league last season, you're doing something good.
All right, we're almost there. We're gonna have to make some changes. Might have to do some sacrifices with some of our quality in some of these other areas. I do apologize. I have been out of broadcasting for a few months, so some of my own things are probably a little messed up. That unfortunately takes trial and error to figure out what we're working on. So looks like we've almost got it. We're still having some issues here, a little bit in the turns. Our next commercial break, if we need one here, I should be able to get this figured out for everybody. Thank you so very much for your patience, and Zach, we're working on it. We're getting there.
Yep. So just everybody's trying to figure each other out here on the racetrack. I guess we're trying to do that up here in the booth. So these guys are putting on a great show. Hopefully we'll be able to bring the second half of this race to you, perhaps in the quality that you're so used to last season. But again, being out of the booth for so long, it's sort of hard jumping right back in, especially, and I'm glad you covered it at the top of the show, Angel. With a field this big, it brings a lot of challenges to any production team. Nevertheless, Sim Racing Media, who, we regard ourselves as one of the, if not the top of the line broadcasting groups out here, we are just people with PCs after all. So we're not out here with real production equipment, so to say.
Exactly. There's only so much that can be done with it. We're I got everybody off of Wi-Fi. Oh no, they're wrecking. The 359 cuts down in front of. I can't see who it is. They're wrecking big time. And well, with this many cars, it's gonna be hard to see it anyways. But wow, we saw exactly just about where that started.
359 getting into, I believe, and I don't want to say it lest I jinx it. I think Cody Oliphant gets through it, so I think he was involved, though, at one point. Yikes. Huge wreck.
Let's get that backed up just a little more. And you're going to see right there, actually, I think this view will be a little bit better. You see him come down ever so slightly. He thought he was clear. You know how your spotter can be. You're clear for just a moment, and then you're not. So,
well, let me tell you, Todd Merkel got through the last big one we saw. Not that one. That one started off his hood, basically, causing that. We have a few drivers down pit road right now, but not too many to report on. A couple of the more popular drivers, you might be wondering where they are here in this contest. Taking a look here throughout the order, of course, our timing and scoring is trying to figure out pit road right now, but your past champion, Maxwell Caldwell, we haven't talked about him at all through the halfway mark of this race. He is sitting in 27th. Yes, he's 11 spots from where he started tonight, but he's still 27th. So there's a number of drivers right now going down pit road, but for anybody wondering, hey, where's the champ? He's still racing. It's just he's not in it quite yet.
yeah, you see all the drivers coming down pit lane. We are going to take one more break here. I hate to have to put you guys on a break pretty quickly again, but we're just trying to get this figured out here over the second half of this race. So we will be right back, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here just from our commercial break, and looks like just past this halfway point now, rolling on here in a lap 53, with that means 48 laps to go. Looks like the pace lights are off, so Zach, that means 47 to go when we come back to restart.
Yeah, really interesting here as this race is now going to start to take its shape here towards the end of this contest, simply because a lot of the guys that we've talked about at the top of the show, being players of last season, have bounced back and have found their way back up to the front. This is the first time all night we've talked about Joshua Yarborough, but we mentioned at the top of the show, you'll probably see him at some point on the high line. Look where he's starting. Trevor Dalton, talked about earlier. A lot of heavy hitters, Steven Johnson, Justin Lewis, Mike Peters peeking back there in 13th. The cream's starting to rise to the top. But those rookies, Angel, they're holding on. So taking a look here, down the backstretch we go. It's going to be two Toyotas on the front row, and that's a rarity here in this league because oftentimes the Toyotas are outmatched. in terms of just sheer number to the rest of the field, but it will be the 30 on the inside of the 77 leading them to the green. This is a matchup we saw a couple of times last season, so these two drivers know how to race one another. They're not strangers to each other. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to get the good push coming to the start-finish line. That 30 is going to be your control car, though, coming to get the green. 53 will turn into 54 here through the Geico restart zone. And yes, indeed, that 30 gets a huge jump, as he is so apt to do, being the control car all year long last year. Gonna do it again here on the season opener. Barreling down here in between 1 and 2, you got 3 cars on the outside lane who are trying to just keep up with a freight train on the inside line. Trevor Dalton leading that inside lane. That's the 11 car to the back of your screen. That's Frank Hughes getting a little bit out of line. He's going to find himself behind Steven Johnson in the 44. Our attention will be brought back up to the front as the 77 is now side by side with the 400 machine of Matt Slosher. And then behind them, you have a couple guys we haven't talked about all night long. Tristan Underwood there in the 4th position in the 790 machine, along with William Salamore. He's a rookie in the 43. We saw that paint scheme race a lot last season, but a new driver behind that petty 43. It's going to be interesting to see if he can bring some magic here to Daytona.
Well, the magic of Daytona is the magic of Daytona, and it leaves... Well, unfortunately, many disappointed and sad, but boy, does it leave you very, very happy.
And just like that, as we were talking about the 43, he jumps out of line and goes all the way to the back. But we have other players now up front. Alejandro has made his way back up to P number 3. Look at Mike Peters diving down to the inside. That 95 Raising Cane's machine is now looking for a slice of the action. He's been in about every caution tonight, Angel, and yet here he is battling for 5th.
And a beautiful, beautiful looking car right there. Man, oh man.
And if I remember correct, and I probably don't, but Mike Peters' ride is based off of a real life ride that he has. He races, he does some street obstacle competitions with his rides. I know I butchered that. We'll have to get Mike in the booth. He's one of the guys that runs SCL, so we'll have to get some of his time. But I know that's a real life paint scheme tribute, so we'll see how that works out. But it's beautiful for a reason. It's beautiful to him. But up front we have Joshua Yarborough, who is, dare I say, on the low line, we never get to see down there, now being followed by a newcomer, Tristan Underwood, there in the 790.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, Zach. If you keep doing what they think you're gonna do, then they're gonna figure it out. And here comes the 95 looking to take the lead there on the outside. The 77 going to come up with the block. The 95 with a nice little shove there into turn 3. Upset the 77. I don't think the 95 was wanting him to cut in front of him. I think he really wanted that lead.
If you don't expect Joshua Yarborough to get to the outside, you have not been paying attention. That 77 is comfortable up there no matter where we go. And now he's going to play block party up front, going back and forth between 2 lanes. That 400 machine looking to the inside of Peters, and they're going to juke out the 77, both of them. And we have a caution on the racetrack.
Yes, we do. We got to see what all happened there.
I didn't
see. No, that wouldn't be it. Let's. Oh, this is where it is. Oh, this is from a pack back here where we said that you could be back here, but oh no, is that net code? I mean, he came down, but is that some net code right there too?
It very well might be, Angel, but I think that is also the case of if you are in. And I know this has happened to both of us, and so that's why I bring it up. But if you're back there in a pack of 4 or 5 cars, your only goal is to stay single file. You don't want to be side by side with somebody else, and you don't want somebody in that group side drafting you. And I think that might be a case of that further on back in the field. And I know you might feel like you're faster than the guy in front of you, but it's it's well enough to be left alone. If you're a pack of 5, you just got to stay single file and hope for the best.
Exactly. Like, all right, just take a moment. Just calm down, everybody. Just take a moment. it's just get in line and just keep on going.
Bringing back all those repressed restrictor plate memories we have, getting frustrated in the back of the field.
Oh, goodness. Don't even remind me now.
I can tell you it's not frustrated, though. The guy in the 95 machine right now, he's had his fair share of bad luck. But right now, he's up front, and he's doing a great job at turning that bad luck into something good. He's got the lead. We're going to have 40 laps to go here as we're still under yellow, but Mike Peters doing a great job right now. So, some of these drivers are going down pit road. Actually, a lot of drivers are going down pit road. You're going to have probably the first 10, 11, as it's all cycling around, 11 cars staying out. So a lot of this field is pitted with drivers up front pitting as late as lap 51, as early as lap 38. So some strategy being played out in the mid-pack now as we get to see a whole new layer of confusion being brought into the field.
Confusion? But come on, Zach. It ain't no fun without some confusion in there.
But yeah, it's a good blend right now of rookies and veterans up front. You have a couple big-time hitters up here inside the top 10. Again, talked about Barrett Flo. He's sitting there in 6th place. Barrett's MO is letting the race come to him. He's always a very patient racer. Kind of, he's one of the older guys in the field, so he knows how to be patient from time to time. And he'll get it done there from P6. Taking a look further on down the order, you have Todd Russ in the 49, who was quick towards the end of last season. He's sitting there in 10th. Also taking a look, Michael Matta. We know that 16 strong out front. He's sitting 13th. So if you have a driver that you're looking for that you want to see up on the screen, you tell us in the comments. We'll go find them here in our running order and bring them up for you.
Absolutely. Zach will get on over there. He'll check it out. He'll let us know who you're rooting on. Next green flag run, we'll do a little bit of a rundown through the field for some of these, for some of our fans as well.
And we're gonna have to perhaps ask Angel up here in the booth to reset his mic. We're getting some feedback on him up here. So but they are going to be 2x2 as Angel hits the reset button on his microphone. I'm going to wait for my buddy to come back here in the booth.
All right, are we testing this? Is it working here?
Yep, I think it's working now.
That would be the simple unplug and plug back in.
Oh, okay. Now, you can't do that if you're having a bad day in these cars. I mean, you can all F4, but I don't think you're going to be able to get back in.
No, at least not where you're going to be successful by any means. I mean, not winning that race, although I'm sure somebody has somehow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a strategy that has yet to been explored. It's going to be explored, and I'm sure it's not going to happen tonight as we are approaching inside, or we have approached rather, inside of 40 laps to go here. Excited to bring the last little bit of your season opener for SCL Winston Cup Series action with you here on Sim Racing Media. Super excited to see how this one's all going to pan out. A couple newcomers up here on the front row. We have Mike Peters and Tristan Underwood going to lead the field here, going to get lap 62 as Peters gets out to a big jump here, getting the green flag.
Big jump, you were right. That number 95, 2024, he made sure to let us know. Mustang out to a great start here, side by side there with Tristan Underwood and his Chevrolet.
Yes, and then you have a couple pushers back here. That 71 machine, if you remember, Bruno Latour, he got involved in that incident not too long ago that caused a huge pileup. Got to the inside of somebody. There's some back and forth saying whether you were clear or not, but drivers remember that. They know, hey, if you were in the beginning of a wreck, maybe I don't want you to push me. So drivers are taking mental notes as Mike Peters drifted up a little high there, making Christian think twice.
Now, Zach, when you're in there, everybody talks about making these mental notes. How often are you truly making these mental notes? I see some smoke there off of maybe just somebody coming off pit lane. How often are you really using those mental notes? And come the end of the race, how often do you really use them? Because sometimes you might have no other choice.
Well, I know for me personally, I tend to be pretty picky. If a driver doesn't race me how I think I've raced them, then you will seldom find me working with them at the end of these things. But you're right, at these plate tracks, towards the end, your friends are where you have to find them. So you might have to put your differences aside for the last 2 laps and get all on the same page here, as you see some big blocks up here from your top 3.
Well, that's the only way to do it. You got to have some fun right now. We're coming down. We got 37 laps to go, believe it or not. And you know, those 37 laps, they can be gone in an instant, even at a track this big like Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got a guy like Mike Peters who he takes a lot of pride in SCL. He has been one of the guys that makes this league go. He puts in a lot of time over here, and a lot of folks respect Mike as he's now going to be leading this group. What would it mean for him to take the first win of this season? He's going to have to rip it away from guys that are hungry, like Bruno Latour and Steven Johnson to his inside.
Yeah, they are hungry without a doubt. You talked about the 71 earlier. How does he adjust to having run not maybe up front all day, or really all day, but guess what? How do you fix that? You go out there and lead some laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got some good company around him, right? Mike is a spectacular racer here in this league. He's being pushed by Steven Johnson, arguably one of the hotter drivers of last season, putting together a lot of great podium finishes, top 5 finishes. Tillman Hewer, I feel like we haven't talked about him a lot today, but he's also very strong in that 14 machine. So you just surround yourself with the good people of this league, and you learn a lot from them. I think Bruno Latour is going to be very, very pleased from how he's been able to handle himself up front today.
Well, and but it's Daytona. You're only pleased if you finished up front.
That's true.
Unfortunate, but it's true.
I feel like sometimes even if you win, you're not happy. It just depends. But these drivers are duking it out here, especially in the mid pack of this front pack. Lots of I was keeping my eye on Cody Oliphant back there for 12th. He was back there around 12th place. He got completely sideways out of turn 2. He kept it straight, folks. So we're going to carry on with coverage. But how did he save that? That was insane. Todd Merkel there on the bottom of your screen. You can see he's going down pit road. Cody back here now, all the way back here in 21st.
Oh,
yes,
there it is. See, wow. Let's go just a little bit further back on that one first, but
he almost got into Trevor Dalton. Look at him.
Did he get into the? He didn't get the apron. That's the slickness of this. Look at it. He just slides up, and then that's just the dirty air. He slid up, and he was not ready for the dirty air. Not that he's supposed to be either. Wow.
Back up front, it's Steven Johnson now in the 44 Fanatec Chevrolet leading the field, and you have a bunch of hungry drivers behind him. Take a look here, mid-pack. You have a guy like Chris Myers back here in mid-pack. You got the second group back here. There's a lot of folks here that we haven't really talked about today now starting to eke their way to the top.
Well, Chris Myers, he's your first guy on, or at least at the moment, not on the lead lap. back there. He is 4 laps down, so he needs a couple of cautions to come, and he needs them to come quickly to get some of those laps back. But goes to show, you have 32 drivers still on the lead lap. You can have a great points day or a very bad points day very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all chasing Steven Johnson right now up front. I have to ask you, Angel, so Chris Myers currently, he's the first car at least 1 lap down, but he's 4 laps down right now, as you mentioned. So with 68, now 68 full laps gone, are you trying to get one of them back the hard way? Do you really think there's going to be 4 cautions here to bail you out and a 5th to get you back into competition? Are you
No, you have to 100% go out there and get it the hard way. There is no other way. You have to get out there and get it the hard way. 4 laps, you're right. Here's the thing. Can we have 4 cautions from here to the end? Yeah, we can have 4 cautions in the last 10 laps. But the problem is that you're not going to be the only guy lap down anymore. Hell, you're going to be the guy 2 laps down still. Maybe still 3 laps down. You only got 1 of them back. The people who start wrecking and need to get their, some damage fixed, they'll be the ones going a lap down. And what are you going to do? You're stuck without a lucky dog and you lost your chance. No, you got to get out there and you got to give yourself the best chance. A caution comes out right now, you are staying out there and taking the wave around.
Yeah, absolutely. You're definitely right. I didn't even think of that. If some of these drivers wreck and go a lap down trying to get repairs, that's the end of Chris Myers' day. He needs to get one back the hard way, then get the lucky dog and at least give himself a shot at the end of this thing. Lap 70 is almost completed, about halfway done. They're all chasing the 44 machine. Who do you like up here? I know we might be a little bit premature in talking about this, but out of who you've seen that's currently up front, who you got your eyes on here towards the end?
I am liking, I have to say, man, it's hard to argue against the 95, but you know what? That 001 of Alejandro has continued to find his way back up front no matter what's happening. I have to say, you got to keep an eye on a guy like that. But, and you mentioned it, that number 92 Ford Mustang of Barrett Flo, how he's somebody you typically see running up front. And he was out back almost all day. I recognize the front end of the Mustang as we've gone through the field. He's found his way back to the front. So a lot of guys really starting to make their way when it matters here. And I think that's what makes Daytona so much fun.
Yeah, that 001, he's been in a couple wrecks. He's been turned on pit road, and he's just continued to claw his way back up through the field. Meanwhile, the opposite of that, as you've mentioned, is Barrett Flo, who likes to hang out there towards the back.
Oh, no, the 05 and the 16. Oh, and they're going to wreck multiple.
Trevor Dalton's in it. Klaus Williams is in it. Chris Myers is in it. Your past champion, I think, is in it. Maxwell Caldwell, we'll have to see where he spits out. It looks like he has some damage. The 64 is in it. We were just talking about some of these drivers racing right behind Barrett Flo. And we got another big one here. Just inside 30 to go. Yeah, the 94's crab walking. We'll have to see if Maxwell's got a...
Is he crab walking?
I think he's not exactly straight. We'll have to see how he fared through this, but...
Hold on, I don't have I guess quite the perfect angle there. Hold on.
Then again, Angel might be a little wrong because these Gen 7s tend to be a little skewed.
I wonder. Anyways, let's actually go back and look at the accident instead of, Oh, so focused on this. Okay, because we had a lot that happened right there. And it started with, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 16 of Michael Matta. Let me find said driver.
Take a look here. Just gets into the 05.
Let's get this back a little bit more. There you go. Let's get to the best view we can get. Oh, come on. Let's get the view. There you go. He goes to the outside. You know what? He was there, huh?
Yeah.
It's an aggressive move, but you know what? You're coming to 30 laps to go. I can't say that's... At first, I would have thought, from far away, that was Michael's fault. But yeah, you go in depth and you see that more things are happening beforehand. You got to look at the stuff from before.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We were talking about him right before the caution.
He got involved.
Yep, he
Oh,
got involved, and Chris Myers up there trying to get his lucky dog. Not going to happen.
definitely unfortunate. But you know what? You're 4 laps down. The odds of getting them are slim to none. You got to go do something. You can't just go right around and do the same thing. It's not going to work.
Well, Angel, how about I throw you a curveball because you haven't had enough. How about I bring in Josh Terrett-Hill, the guy who runs SCL, get his perspective about the race now that we're under caution, and see what he has to say about the new season.
Let's go on in. Let's go bring somebody in here. We got 30-something drivers still on the lead lap almost.
Boss man, Josh Terrett-Hill, it's Zach Woods and Angel up here in the booth. You guys have a copy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to hear you again. It's been too long, but it's good to be up here looking at SCL competition, regular season competition, by the way, with with all the folks out there in YouTube land. I wanted to bring you up here in the booth, get your thoughts about the race, and hear from you about how excited you are for this season.
It's going okay for a plate race. I definitely have my hands full up here, trying to admin everything and review cautions and pass out penalties and all that stuff. But I mean, it's a plate track. I'm used to it. That's what happens. But yeah, trying to put a good start to the season together. Had a great car count today, and hopefully we can have that go into the future as we roll into our 35th season here. Keep on trucking.
I was just about to say 35 seasons in, man. That's quite the accomplishment, but I would say handing out penalties and doing all the admin work, that should be old hat for you by now.
It's a lot to listen to sometimes when I'm trying to watch your race coverage and I'm trying to listen to people try to clear me, and I'm talking to the other officials in the Discord and 4 or 5 voices at once.
Don't you
I'm
worry.
doing it right now.
Zach's gonna start learning how some of this admin work really is.
We'll see. But all right, man, I'm gonna drop you back in. I think that's code, Angel, for put me back in my booth, and we're gonna get green here, but we'll talk to you after the race. Josh Terrett-Hill, everybody. He's always a fun one to talk to.
Oh, without a doubt. But hey, man, and it's he's doing a lot. That's for sure. That's tough. But hey, that's what makes it. He said what, 35 seasons? You don't have 35 seasons without putting in the work that they do. And you see those guys a little bit trying to figure out back there. Pace car's off. It looks like we should still be good to go green. Gonna have 26 laps to go. When they go green, they come across the Geico restart zone, and Barrett Flo is gonna restart this race.
The crafty vet Barrett Flo has made his way now at the 3/4 mark to the lead at Daytona. No one is surprised because that 92 tends to do this a lot when he's entered into these events. But don't look now. That 77's getting a huge push from that 400 machine behind him.
That 400 machine has continuously found a way to run up front, no matter what the situation has been. He's a guy you got to keep an eye on, and he's giving a big shove. We got some good shoving action up here. Going into turn number 3, still 26 laps to go, about to be 25 laps to go in this race.
Take a peek. The 6th car on the outside lane is your 2-time defending champion, Maxwell Caldwell. We haven't said anything about him really all night, except for when we think he's in accidents, and it turns out I'm wrong. He's sitting up there in 12th, Angel. That 94 is running just fine.
He's running just fine, exactly, but it is the continued fight up front, 1st and 2nd. Right now, the 92 is going to have the low line clear, but guess what? The high line's been working, so you got to stay up there. What are you doing, Zach? Are you staying up there? Or are you going to keep going bottom to top, trying to, kind of control both lanes yourself? What's your preference if you're up there?
I mean, if I'm Barrett right now, I'm just trying to not wreck the field. And that was a good decision right there. The 355 had a great run. Cody had a great run going into 3. Barrett didn't just throw a late block just to do it. He's going to weigh his risks, right? It's okay if you miss out on a spot or 2 up here on that high line. It'll come back. It'll bring you back up. It's always good to have sort of those those self-aware drivers, I guess, leading the outside groove, because you don't want to get blocking too crazy up here. As I just say that, look at Mike Peters squeezing that 001 all the way to the outside line. Mike Peters is not wasting any time.
Now, I wonder how much is that and how much is this just car handling as you see these drivers going here into turn number 3. You know, we're going to go ahead and bring up some of this race info from you from the start of this race. The track temp is all the way up to 95 degrees. It was about 80 degrees more or less. Maybe I think it was 82, 83. So I was making a joke here because the Orlando temp here is 80 degrees and the track temp is almost the same. So it's already gone up significantly since the start of this race. They're probably close to the 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock mark here on the iRacing service. So it's heating up. The tires are really starting to slip and slide here on this hot racetrack, and boy, it's gonna make for a great last couple of 20-something laps.
The tires are hot, the tracks are hot, and tempers are about to get hotter as the 71 dives down to the inside line. That's Bruno Latour. He's been up front here for the last about 20 laps or so. He's not giving away any of his track position. Really aggressive there in that 71 machine.
He is staying right on him. Again, he's made his moves at the right time. 22 laps to go here for the SCL Winston Cup Series season 35 opener at Daytona. And man, look at these two Fords side by side up front, then 2 Chevrolets, and then your first Toyota there running in the 5th or 6th position with Joshua Yarborough in that number 77.
Yes, and a little further on back, Austin Call sitting there in 9th. He had a bit of a moment coming out of the corner. Michael Matta was able to check up and let him go. It's interesting, though, that the 94 and 18 have found each other. They have worked well together in the past, so you can definitely bank on those two drafting well towards the end of this thing. Front 4 right now have broken away from the bottom line.
No, we're coming to 20 laps to go, Zach. I think it is a perfect time for a little bit of a turn it up session.
I totally agree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I always like to remind you, if you have headphones on, you might want to turn down the volume because it absolutely does get loud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here from one of my favorite sessions that we get to do with such beautiful views we have of these drivers and these cars coming flying across. I did mistake we have this beautiful feature on iRacing in which they're wrecking there. Oh, forget what I'm talking about. They're wrecking here coming into turn number 3. Oh, wait. There's only one car? Zach, I think we're okay.
So too, I'm not quite sure if I'm seeing what you're seeing, but
Well, we had 2 cars smack each other there in the on the backstretch going into 3.
oh, well,
I'm trying to find where exactly was this, Cody? Yes, we're gonna see from this view. Oh, there it is. The 355 goes spinning down after massive contact. I'm not sure exactly who he had contact with. Was that Chris Myers? Yes, Chris Myers.
Yeah, that was towards the very beginning of our Turn It Up segment. So I don't. You might have to take a peek and see if you're looking at live right now, Angel, because right now we're.
It's set.
Right.
No, it's set for live. We're 17 laps to go. That's.
Oh yeah, I guess we're all together then. So, but right now, look who's in the lead.
Oh, you know what? It updated. Oh, well, there's a massive wreck right there. I do apologize. This is the previous one I was talking about.
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
There you go. You know what? I clicked the wrong one is what happened there.
I was going to say that streak of yellow happened on the first part, right when we started Turn It Up. But yeah, that's the wreck right there that's going to bring out this caution. And holy moly, a lot has changed. You just have one Turn It Up section, Angel, and everything's different now.
Tell me about it. We're going to try. Let's try to jump on the blimp here and see what all happened. Oh, we tried to stuff it to the middle. The 33 was that's just, man, bad timing for everybody. Everybody going for the same spot.
Bit of a late block there if we have to put blame, but we're not up here to do that. So we'll.
I mean, I love placing blame, except it's just not my job tonight is all.
Well, it's hard racing, right? It's inside 20 to go. It's go time. And for those drivers that were racing there, back there around 15th position, you want to make some magic happen now. You don't want to wait till the very end because you know there's going to be chaos at the end. The safest spot's in first. So to be able to get back towards the front is so important. Sometimes you're going to have to throw a late block or two, and that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You have to throw those blocks when it comes to it, and we're going to have, let's see, it's 15 to go. What are we expecting? Probably 12 to 13 laps to go when we go green here?
Yeah, I think so. And you're going to have these guys really get ready to get some good hard racing in. Let's see. Why do you think we bring in somebody up here in the booth again, Angel? How about
let's go find someone to torture.
How about
whoa, Zach, hold on. Never mind. No.
Okay.
Did not bring anybody into the booth.
Okay.
I do apologize. I have a ruling of myself. Anybody on the lead lap or within striking distance, I do not bring into the booth with 20 laps to go.
Oh, wow. That goes to show I haven't worked with you enough. So
no, it's also circumstantial. You have to have a caution with 20 laps to go, and we've only had so many, I haven't been doing many broadcasts at all, clearly from tonight. Do we have anybody that's not on the lead lap that we can bring in?
Well, I was looking down through the order, and the short answer is no.
I do apologize, everybody. For better clarification, I had a string of broadcasts, Zach, that probably, and this extended from a previous one of Ghost when I used to broadcast that one, where if I brought somebody into the booth that was on the lead lap within 20 laps to go, they were absolutely dealt the broadcaster's curse on the very next moment. So, whether it was my decision or drivers of the leagues that I broadcasted, I no longer do that with 20 laps to go.
Wow. Well, there you go. The broadcaster's curse is real. It's Angel's fault. He even has a rule.
Exactly.
So, well, 14 to go. And now this is starting to look like an SCL race. They're all chasing Maxwell Caldwell. And I feel like that was said more than not last season. But he's looking to get his season started off right. But you have a few guys here in the top 5. And Angel, I hate to break it to you. I don't often, given, what I do for a living, I don't often brag, but you're up here, so I'm going to brag. So 4 out of the top 5, 4 out of the top 5 are veterans of SCL competition. Caldwell, Peters, Hewer, and Call, with Bruno Latour, as we've documented pretty well, making his debut. Taking a look down through the top 10, Eli Raposa has a few selective starts. Steven Johnson is a veteran. Charles Teed, good guy Karma 50, he's sitting there in 8th. William Salamone, he's one of your rookies. And then Tristan Underwood is new to me. So even though he doesn't have an R beside his name on my timing and scoring, he's new to me. So I don't remember seeing his name. But there we go. So more veterans than not here in your top 10. How are you feeling about your rookie pick?
I still like my... Okay, well, let me see. Before I say something, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rookies still on the lead lap of your 25 drivers in the lead lap. That's still almost... It's just under a third. I like my chances still. Brian Latour's been doing good, but I say keep an eye out on that... At 001, Alejandro's there at 11th again. He keeps fighting his way back up there. It's hard to deny it, Someone just keeps fighting their way back up there. You got to give him credit. And Bear Flo, right there in 12th. You saw him running up front, so let's not take him out of this either.
Yeah, certainly a mix of experience and not up here towards the end, but as anybody knows who has been on this service and has raced Daytona, you know that the amount of experience you have sometimes doesn't matter. It's all going to boil down to luck here towards the end of these things. Pace car is going to make that hard turn drifting down pit road. And side by side, familiar foes, Maxwell Caldwell and Mike Peters going to take the green flag now with 12 laps to go here from Daytona.
And they go down here into turn number 1 at speeds already of 170 miles an hour almost, and they are all drifting to the high lane. You know what this means? They want to make it to the end of this well, I say that, and here we are. We got the guys already making the moves. Never mind. I love when they make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about up here. It means we're going to have some exciting racing.
Well, the 71 wasn't going to wait for anybody, but he had Tillman Hewer say, I'm not going to get boxed in here. I want to go down and take the run. So you have the 94, 95, and 18 who have all raced each other extensively in the past. Now trying to outdo some of the new guys down here to the inside. We are going to try to get to a lap car here. Frank Hughes in that 11. Let's see what we do.
Oh, Frank, great respect right there. He pulls completely off of the racing surface. Does not want to be the reason something happens. That is a great just a gesture right there of respect.
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers are duking it out right now here in the front group. You have a lot of heavy hitters up here. Let's see if that bottom line's going to get some energy to it, though. You talked about it, Angel. The more laps you run on these tires, the more you are inclined to keep it up there on that high line just because it feels comfortable.
It does, but you've seen what's happened to some of these cars on the outside lane when they've got in the bad part of that dirty air where, it's just an instant loss of control. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's the one worry you got to have about the outside and having some older tires. But you look at a guy like Tristan Underwood, you mentioned. Him and Barrett Flo pit on that last caution at lap 86. So they've got about maybe 10 lap fresher tires, give or take. So we'll have to see if that plays into a factor, along with the fact that we are starting to hit nighttime. This is sunset here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be real pretty by the time this one's over. But it's going to come down to, I think, if Mike Peters has some room, that 95 has been so aggressive all day long. I don't want to put anything by him for making a last lap pass here as this starts to dwindle down. But he needs that lane below him free in order to make it happen.
Well, you don't always necessarily need to do that. 94 might have to come down to make a block, and things happen. You never know. What's going to happen is you got to just do whatever's given in front of you.
Side by
Yeah.
side going down the back stretch. I'm trying to keep our composure up here. This is wild. The 71 made sure that everybody kept it straight. He's pushing Tim Hewer now to the lead. They are even here going through 3 and 4. You don't want to push in the corner. Look how close the 71 is to the 14.
Man, oh man. And we are double file at least maybe 7-8 rows deep through here. The first 15 or 16 cars I pulled away.
Under a blanket is the first about, oh yeah, you're right, 16, 17 cars. But they're all chasing the duo of Caldwell and Hewer side by side going down the backstretch. The 14's now going to get a good run on that low side. Where did the low freight train come from, Angel? All night long we've been talking about the high line. Now, at least in 1 and 2, it looks like they have the advantage.
Yep, and here they are pulling up on a lap car. Don't know exactly. Is that Little Peters, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, Lila, she'll pull right off. Yeah, I've raced with her before. She's a respectful driver. She'll pull right off and get out of the way.
To the start-finish line, it will be Caldwell's lap. 7 to go here from Daytona. Tensions are rising here at SCL Winston Cup Series competition. Who will take the first win of the season side by side here in 1 and 2? Will it be the defending champ, or will somebody dethrone him on the first race of the season?
Oh man, I don't know. It is Daytona. You've seen it. Daytona is a place where people can pull it off. They can pull off the unexpected. But also Daytona is a place of champions. Champions know how to win here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that high line's starting to fizzle out a little, Angel.
That's not working so good. Tillman's on that bottom lane. He's really making it work now. Does he move high, though? Or does he stay with the 71 who's done such a good job of pushing him so far?
Yeah, I really don't know. It's going to be a hard decision to make. One wrong block could send you further on back in the field than you want to be here with 6 laps to go. We'll have to see as we start to approach the end of Daytona here for SCL competition. 3 by 3, pretty closely linked up here going into 3 and 4.
Nope. And 23 drivers still on the lead lap as we're coming here through turns 3 and 4. 5 laps to go it will be, so you can still lose quite a bit of positions. And while off the top of my head I don't quite recall the difference between 1st and 23rd on our old NASCAR system, but I know it is a lot of points right there.
Absolutely. And of course, if you haven't led a lap yet, why not lead the last one? And these drivers are trying to battle it out, put themselves in a good enough position to have a shot. And if you're sitting back there 3rd, 4th, 5th row, that might not be in the cards for you right now.
Well, you never know what could happen here over the last couple of laps. Gonna be coming to 4 laps to go. I wonder, as we mentioned, you see the sun has begun to set. It'll actually set behind the front grandstands. That's why you see the shade already here on the track on the front stretch, because the sun sits right behind the stands in turns 1. So, you see a big move to the outside. I wonder though, with all the shade and cooling of the track, is that bottom line what's starting to prevail?
It very well might have to do with track conditions right now as you see them howling down the backstretch. Steven Johnson's going to take a peek to the outside. He's going to try to pick up his Chevrolet teammate in Maxwell Caldwell.
Wow.
Big bump there. It's going to set the 95 sideways, and there it is. A wreck with Austin Call involving a whole bunch of people here from about 7th on back. Barrett Flo is in it. You have Mike Peters in it. Multiple heavyweight drivers involved. And that all started, you saw it here on the broadcast, folks, a chain reaction as Steven Johnson goes to pick up his Chevrolet teammate, Maxwell Caldwell, from the outside. One bump leads to another, and the 95 is the one who's crushed into the outside wall.
Man, oh man, that is unfortunate right there. We're going to try to pull this up. A lot of things happening right there. Our system is just trying to figure out where it all started. Alrighty. Come on now. Okay. So, Let's see. The yellow flag. Okay.
Yep.
Let's rewind ever so slightly. Yeah, it's just that bump is all it takes. The 95, of course, has no clue the 44 is now attached to the 94's bumper. He gets off just well enough. The 18 is low. Now, it looks like the 95 might be in the wall a little bit, and you know how the wall is here. He drifts down, but again, if you're in the wall, you're trying to get off of it. It's what happens. It's just unfortunate, bad timing for everybody else. It's a chain reaction is all that's going to cause that, and just a massive wreck taking out a good chunk of this field.
No good luck here for the 50 machine that we talked about all evening long. Trying to get Charles Teed some good mojo there. Looks like he had a fast repair, so that's good. But Charles Teed did not escape from that wreck. He was right in the middle of that one.
You know what's even more unfortunate is, man, a lot of rookies got taken out in that one. There's only a couple left. I'm really starting to look bad now.
I mean, you have a couple up here in the front four, Angel. You have Bruno Latour, William Salamone back here in fourth place. They're going back and forth now, trying to figure out positioning. But we talked about earlier, could William possibly pilot that Petty 43 machine to victory lane here in Daytona?
Gosh, that'd be amazing.
A different driver piloted that machine last year, and now we have a new driver stepping into that ride. It had a lot of good mojo to it. I mean, it wasn't uncommon to see the 43 slicing and dicing last season. Could he put his name on the top at the end of the day? We'll have to see.
Beautiful looking 43. I love the paint schemes. We've seen some beautiful paint schemes, and that's what I love about iRacing. Just the creativity you see amongst paint schemes is unreal, and it's just like you're never going to see these in real life because you don't have the opportunity to have this many paint schemes in real life. So that's what I love about this. Creativity is fantastic.
Speaking of creativity, Angel, I have to explain, maybe to you, but to some of our viewers out there, a different element here to SCL Winston Cup Series competition that is now going to be important for our viewers to understand at home. You see, SCL Winston Cup Series action does do a lot of old stuff and new stuff,
yes.
smushing it all together. One of the things that they take from real-world NASCAR racing is the concept of a green-white checkered. However, in SCL Winston Cup Series competition, you only get one attempt at a green-white checkered. So whether it's the checkered flag or the yellow flag, that next flag is going to end this race. So you have to put yourself in a position without wrecking the field to have yourself a shot, but you got to do it quick enough because you don't know what those drivers behind you are going to wind up doing.
And if you guys would like to know, this is in fact a green-white checkered.
So
next flag ends it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really exciting now because you have to be aggressive, but you also have to be smart. But you got to do it quick because you only have a green-white checkered. So.
That's just the worst part. It's like you want to be aggressive and take it early, but then you're worried that you take it too early and you're going to be left out to hang. But then if you don't take it early enough and a caution comes out, you never had a chance. You got to go for it. Just go for it.
A driver I want to mention here, one, because he's racing a paint that you can appreciate, that I can appreciate, and the fact that he's had such an up-and-down day. Isaac Love back there in the 12th position racing that 62 machine.
Beautiful.
He was involved in an earlier incident. One of the first incidents we had tonight. Look at him fighting all the way back here, having a chance to get a top 10. Just want to throw it out there because we were talking about paints earlier.
I do love that one. Love a nice, beautiful throwback paint scheme. Pace cars getting ready to come down pit lane. We have 2 laps to go. The season opener. It all comes down to this. Who's going to take home the victory? They're going to come across the Geico restart zone. We are green flag racing. 2 to go here at Daytona International Speedway. What a great start there for Tillman Hewer. Hopefully not too good of a start.
Hewer is going to have a mirror full of Steven Johnson now barreling down into turn 1 and 2. It's not the high line that is that's going to get the run that we expect.
Oh, rookies make contact there. It's going to be still what possibly could be a three-way battle for the lead. Drivers are everywhere on this 4 wide there. Who knows? Oh, no, they're wrecking. Question is it an iRacing caution? It is. And just like that, Tillman Hewer is going to be your victor tonight in the SCL Season 35 opener here at Daytona International Speedway.
Hewer got a great restart, able to pull away from Steven Johnson and make that low line work in 1 and 2. Maxwell Caldwell did not have enough time to go chase down the field, and ultimately it will be a 14:44.94 bingo top 3 finish at Daytona. And you have a lot of great finishing results back here through the top 5, Angel. There's your 2 rookies, Salamone and Bruno Latour, 4th and 5th. But the contact happened between Alejandro Montanesca and I believe Isaac Love. I'm not quite sure on that. We'll have to take a look at that replay, but
Let's go back and get that for everybody.
It definitely involved the 001 machine, so we'll have to take a peek.
Oh, let's go. Let's actually find that. No, 001. That's Alejandro. All right, let's.
There we are.
There we go.
And they are 4 wide. You can see the 49 already on the inside line.
Yeah, no, that's
Greg Birch gets into him.
Yeah,
that's Greg Birch.
He just came down on him. Just again the product of that racing. There's nothing much more you can do there.
Coming to the start-finish line. Now it's official, Angel. Sometimes in these iRacing events, it can get kind of confusing when it's a yellow flag on a green-white checkered. You have to stay out and secure your finishing spot.
That is true. That is very much true, and I've seen drivers lose it that way. So maybe not a win, but just a good finish. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring Maxwell Caldwell. You said our reigning champion, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I will try to find him as he's making
available.
his. Oh, I'll make him available. Here he comes. Max, it's been a while. Zach and Angel up here in the booth.
Yes, sir. How are y'all?
I'm doing well, and I was getting kind of worried here, man. I was waiting to see our champ make his way back up through the field, and you waited long enough. But sure enough, it all fell in your lap there towards the end.
Yeah, I thought we had a chance to win it when we had the teammates lined up at that bottom lane. Just started coming on randomly. Didn't expect that. I guess the cooler track temps maybe promoted that, but no, went to qualify, kind of nicked the wall and just aborted the lap and said screw it. Didn't realize how many people were in the room, so I got to start at the back, but that wasn't a problem because these guys wanted to wreck a lot. So had a little bit of attrition we had to go through tonight. A couple of really close calls, but hey, Daytona, it doesn't really matter except that you finish, and if you can finish, you can typically get a good one. So wasn't looking to win tonight, was looking to get a solid top 5, and hey, we got that with a 3rd place, so I will take that any day here at this racetrack.
Well, that you did. You did a great job at managing the race, letting everything come to you. Taking a look forward into this season, I can only imagine a guy that has had the last couple seasons like you have. The expectation is, of course, to race well, defend a championship well. What does a podium finish like this do to springboard that effort?
It means this doesn't get used as a drop week this season. This season's very interesting because a lot of us have a lot of big summer plans. So you're going to see a lot of drivers in and out throughout the season. I think there's 2, almost 3 races I'm going to have to miss this season due to just summertime events that I have to be a part of. So that's unfortunate, but we have 4 drop weeks because of that. So that still means we can contend for a championship again. But I think with 4 drop weeks out of 12 races, I mean, the points battle, it's not going to be really widespread like y'all have seen the past couple seasons. It's going to be really tight all the way down to the end, I think. So, but not having to use Daytona as a drop week when I know I've got to miss 3 out of 4 is good. That means I can fall back on a couple of other bad finishes if they come our way.
Well, I know you're repping Merkel Racing Engines here again, but I know that's not the end-all, be-all of your thank yous. Who do you have to thank for tonight's effort?
Absolutely, man. First and foremost, got to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without Him, I wouldn't be blessed enough to have this equipment, to be in this house I'm in, to be able to run these races with these amazing people in the league. So the Lord has blessed me with that. Also, got to represent Merkel Racing Engines back on the car again this season. 2 championships in a row. I think he just kind of likes seeing the car on the broadcast a little bit. And I noticed he already sponsored that last race at Atlanta again. So we didn't perform there last season very well. We kind of got wrecked out at the end, but hoping to do well there this season. But yeah, Merkel Racing Engines for their continued support. They've been such a great sponsor of the team. Also, just my teammates, Mike Peters, Austin Call, Justin Lewis, Todd Merkel. Mark Brown was in there with us tonight. He didn't have the night he was looking for, but just some great guys that I've got to be blessed with, to be able to race with the last couple seasons and sticking together. And we tried to have a plan, but we came up just a little short. But hey, we dodged all the crashes and got a top 3 out of it, so I'm thankful for that. And you guys for the broadcast. I noticed y'all were having a little bit of hiccups there tonight, but hopefully that gets squared away, because y'all typically do such a great broadcast. So hoping y'all get that cleared up and come back next week firing on all cylinders, and it'll be awesome.
Hey, drivers are shaking off the rust. So are we up here in the booth. So good to be able to talk with you, and probably going to be talking to you quite a number of times here as this season wears along. Go and enjoy a top 3 effort here at Daytona.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Well, Angel, I'm bringing now in the booth one of my favorite guys to talk to, and you get to talk to him this week. Steven Johnson's up here with a P2 effort at Daytona.
Oh, not the favorite.
Steven, well, this is Angel and Zach in the booth. Of course, you got us, man. Congratulations here for the 2nd place finish. I know you didn't quite get the opportunity to try to battle for the win, but coming home with a 2nd place finish at Daytona with a car that looks pretty clean, you can't be too disappointed.
Yeah, that's right, man. I'm glad to have brought it home second. It was a bit of a war out there. I was trying to be careful and just bide my time. I was wishing we got to race it out at the end, but like I was telling Tillman, hey, congratulations, you got lucky it came out. I was setting you up.
Man, and going through everything in the last lap, the last couple laps, like you said, you the plan was, of course, to set him up. Was there ever a moment in your head where you thought you needed to pass him immediately in case a caution came out, or was the plan to race it to the end?
My plan was just to race it to the end. I was hoping that everyone would just kind of keep it clean, because I was watching Maxwell behind me. He was backing off a little bit, trying to create a little space. So I was just trying to wait and be careful and not, shoot the gun too early.
Well, and unfortunate as it was to not be able to get to actually, come home with the victory, nonetheless, a great job on a 2nd place finish. I'm sure you're going to have some people you'd like to thank before we let you go. Before I actually let you do that, you have Michigan as your next race. How does that track fit into the wheelhouse of Steven Johnson?
I think Michigan is going to be pretty good. I can't remember how I finished there last season, but I felt pretty good about it. So hopefully it bodes pretty well. We'll see how it goes.
Man, well, we appreciate that. Go ahead, let us know who you'd like to thank here, and then we'll let you celebrate a podium finish here in Daytona.
Yeah, I don't have any sponsors or anything. I guess I want to give a shout out to Mike Peters and some of those guys. I ended up throwing a bad block, so I want to give a shout out and an apology to some of those guys. But I'm looking forward to this season and looking forward to bringing home some more podiums, hopefully some wins this season.
Well, absolutely. I wish you the best of luck. If I get to broadcast one of those races, hopefully it is in victory lane. Nonetheless, congratulations, Steven, on your podium finish tonight.
Very much. See you next time.
Yeah, he's always really cool. I like talking to him. So
absolutely.
Bringing in our race winner, it's Tillman up here with Zach and Angel in the booth. Can you hear us?
Woo! How about that?
Well, you put on a show tonight. It was awesome to see that another number 14 ride slicing and dicing through Daytona. Tell the folks out there in TV land, what was your experience like here at the World Center of Racing?
Man, it was wild. We took a couple spins tonight. We went down in the dirt. We got in victory lane. I mean, we did it all, So, I got the full effect out here in Daytona. Got to thank the landscape company, Pitbull Tobacco Company, everybody that powers this machine. This number 14 Chevy was on a rail. You kind of had to watch out for, some rookies out there making some mistakes, but at the end of the day, we capitalized and we got a win. So, that's at the end of the day, you can't really complain anytime you end up in victory lane.
Angel, you have anything you want to ask our race winner?
Well, I always like to do so, and you got it covered pretty good there. But going into a race like Daytona, is it something that you feel like everybody, of course, everybody has a pretty good chance of winning. But is this something that you think, what, I can go in there, I can win this race, or are you just, coming in and hoping to avoid the worst of it?
No, man, I feel like, anytime that this number 14 car hits the track, it doesn't matter if we're in a truck, cup car, street stock. If we show up, we're going to be competitive. It's just if we're going to make all the right decisions, behind the wheel and stay out of trouble. A lot of it comes down to being out of trouble, but we like to compete, and we definitely are up front when we are. So this definitely starts out the season strong, and I like to show my talents anytime I'm out there, and I hope that we can capitalize on it and get some more wins and stay out of trouble. Like I said, that's the big thing in these races, so, and that's the real thing when you're out on Saturday nights. There's fast guys, but the main thing is staying out of trouble, the war of attrition, and being on top of that. So definitely capitalized on some bad moves of other drivers, but at the end of the day, we had to be up front at the end to win the race. So we'll try to capitalize that. I don't know if I'll be running tomorrow night, but we'll definitely be in the late model. So I'm excited about that. I'll take this momentum and see what we can do in the number 14 Pitbull Tobacco machine. And thanks to the Landscape Company and all the other partners that we got. But also thanks to Josh and SCL for hosting this, because without them, we wouldn't have somewhere to race and showcase our skills. So at the end of the day, those guys are the real winners in this. So thanks for everybody tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, that's Tillman Hewer, your first-time winner of this season, first time winner, I guess I should say, of this next season of SCL competition.
Season 35.
Going in,
First of many. First of many.
There you go.
You heard it from the man himself. Go and enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Angel. Woo! I feel like we can breathe now. That was an action-packed event we just witnessed.
Was it ever? Wow. Well, let's go ahead and bring up the results for everybody. Oh, well, hold on. Let's get back to our live stuff. Hold on. We're not getting any results here, Zach.
Uh-oh.
Is it because of the feature setting on here? Maybe because it hasn't...
Oh, it might. It really might.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just read this off to you, everybody. So I apologize.
Yes.
You won't be able to get a read to do this, but we'll do this in our usual 10s here. Tillman Hewer, of course, your winner tonight, having started back in the 27th position, not your biggest mover, but up 26 spots, one of the best ones. Steven Johnson in second. Maxwell Caldwell, your reigning champion, not your biggest mover, but up 35 spots, there to finish in third. William Salamone, he'll be your rookie of the race in that number 43, the Petty Blue 43 in fourth. And your next rookie, Bruno Latour, your highest finishing forward, will round out the top five. Tristan Underwood, he was the we'll say the SRM biggest mover of the race, up 36 spots from his starting position back there in the 42nd spot to finish 6th. Joshua Yarborough was your highest finishing Toyota in 7th and at number 77. Barrett Flo would finish in 8th in his Ford. Eli Raposa in 9th in his Toyota. And Charles Teed, he'll still come out with the top 10 here in that number 50.
Michael Batta finishing a crisp number 11 tonight in that 16 machine. Very strong early on, kind of faded there late. Chad Jones in the 75 finishing 12th. Matt Schlosser in that 400 machine. We saw him up front quite a bit tonight, finishing 13th. Alejandro Montedosa is going to finish 14th in the 001 machine. Isaac Love's going to bring that throwback 62 home 15th tonight. Justin Horton's going to finish 16th in the 64 machine. Greg Birch, who we saw involved on that last caution, is going to finish 17th. 19th will go to Lilith Peters, and Austin Call will round out your top 20.
Frank Hughes, another one of our rookies here, in 21st. Klaus Williams in 22nd. 23rd belongs to Jonathan Casebeer. We're going to say it right this time now that he's got the clarification for us. Mike Peters would round up 24th. Charlie Birch in 25th. 26th belongs to rookie Justin Hughes. Justin Lewis would finish 27th. Jeremy Flanagan, another rookie, but not new to the SRM broadcast. We've broadcasted him quite a few different times there in the 28th position. Todd Merkel in 29th. Cody Oliphants, did I say it right this time? Gonna round out your top 30.
Chris Myers in that 24 Garza Law Firm Chevrolet will finish 31st. Wayne Lowe will finish 32nd. 33rd is going to be Trevor Dalton in that 30 Miller Genuine Draft Toyota. We saw that 30 machine up front. We'll bring it home 33rd tonight. David Hanna will finish 34th. 35th will go to Mark Brown. 36 will go to Justin Cromier. We saw the 55 up front at various points tonight. Nathan Adams in the 359 machine will finish 37th. 38th will go to Eric Peterson, the other dark horse racing entry, will finish 38th. 39th will go to the 361 machine of Neil Rutt. And Casey Hatch will finish 30th.
And that will be your...
Or 40th.
Oh, yes, so no worries. And then Derek Wegman, your final rookie, will round out the 41st and final position as Dominic Hughes, Mark Millard, Julian Ritchie, and Hunter E. Johnson, all rookies as well, failed to make the race. Oh, well, that's right. That's correct. They were not able to attend the heat race, thus, of course, not being able to make the race anyways. Well, we've had quite the race here to start off the season, Zach. I think this is going to show bode pretty well for the rest of the season.
Yeah, really excited to bring SCL action here on Sim Racing Media. They always bring out a good show. It's one of, in my humble opinions, the better shows we're able to produce here. Super excited to be able to partner back up with them, at least for some action. If you are one of those sponsors that we talked about at the top of the show that's willing to look for a productive league, one that always brings in the views and one that produces clean racing, look no further than SCL. That's how they're able to come to people like us in Sim Racing Media so we can show them to the world. So if you're interested in hopping on with sponsors, I know these guys here are open for those conversations. So Angel, it's been a pleasure to be up here in the booth with you. For my broadcast partner, Angel Santiago, my name is Zach Woods, and well, till we meet again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on any of our Sim Racing Media commentary content, and we'll see you at the track again real soon.